everybody. Welcome back to our Blessed Performance YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about transmissions. In general, this conversation can cover anything electronically controlled. Any electronically controlled transmission, that is. So this can work on your 6R140s, 10R guys, 68 guys, Allisons, anything that's electronically controlled. This conversation can apply to you. Today, though, we have a Randy's 5R110W valve body sitting right here in front of me. So I wanted to bring this up and talk about it. So 5R110 is one of the most iconic transmissions there ever was produced when it comes to the diesel world. It is known to be a very stout transmission, but these trucks are now getting 20 years old. Anywhere from, at 2007 and we're 2024, 2025 almost, pretty much. They're getting released, so what is that, 18 years? I think I'm doing my math right. Some of them are 20 plus years old for the general thing here. Transmissions need maintenance. That's the best way I could put this. A lot of guys don't even understand how to properly maintain a transmission. And you know what? There's a time when I didn't know either. And I've had to learn and grow and study and understand things, okay? So that's what I wanted to make the video for, was to talk about the maintenance of your transmission. So let's dive in here. Let's first talk about the electronic side of this. All of these right here are your solenoids, okay? So this, for reference, we have a 5R110W, a late model one, because it's only got the one pressure plug here. The rest of them are all cast over. That's the way the Randy's valve bodies come. So if you notice, which we'll bring the camera in to show it in here in a minute, but there are some ports here that are just cast over, okay? In the early transmissions, they had several ports open with a plastic plug. One of those gets bad, guess what? You lose line pressure. Could your transmission be shifting funny because of that? Probably. Okay, so let's get back to the electronic side of things here. So each one of these is a solenoid that tells the transmission what to do, what gear to shift to, blah, 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 blah. Goes through the valve body, applies pressure to the clutches. With age, we know that this guy that has the same concept as this can fail. But for some reason, we struggle to understand that the transmission with age and improper maintenance can fail. Here we have a 6.0 injector. This is a spool valve right here. The spool valve goes in right here. And of course, now it's all, I got it all messed up. Slides back and forth on command from the electronic solenoid right here. Okay? Well, we know that with improper maintenance, improper oil changes, we can get a lot of carbon buildup, which you can see a lot of wear on this specific spool valve right here. We can get a lot of wear on these. What happens then is injector stiction, which makes your truck run rough. 6.0 power strokes, this is an iconic classic problem. So, my question is, why is it so hard to understand that can happen to these when it's the exact same thing? There's an electronic solenoid here that commands the valve, the spool valve to slide in and out. And allow pressure to go by. It is the exact same concept. Well, my 150,000 mile transmission shouldn't have those problems. 150,000 miles of clutches grabbing and releasing, what happened? And without a proper fluid change every 10,000 miles, I do my transmissions every 10,000. I think OEM states in general about 30,000. Personally, I do 10,000. That being said, for some reason, us 6.0 guys, including myself, have sometimes a hard time understanding why this concept, we run into this issue. So, Randy's came out with this valve body, and it's a new valve body, bolt right up, just like you do your 68s, which if you ever touched 68, you know how much a pain in the ass those transmissions are. Problem childs. This is honestly a really good valve body, and it's a really good design, and it works really good, but it still needs maintenance. Inside of here, like I stated, is the same concept as this spool valve, sliding right here and allowing pressure to go back and forth, and allowing pressure by to command clutches to engage. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and try to map all this out. Probably could if I had time, but we don't have time for that. But I wanted to bring this up and show you guys. So what do we do to combat this? Well, number one, if you have a low mileage truck, that's awesome. That means the clutches probably don't have a lot of wear, but just like anything else that is low mileage, there has been improper maintenance. Water, condensation can build up inside the transmission just like it can anything else, differentials, engines, oil pans, anywhere that there's an temperature change, condensation can build up. That condensation turns into water, which breaks this down and hurts these guys right here. These guys. Most important things in your transmission, right here. Next to the clutches commanding, okay? But without these guys, clutches don't give a damn. How do we combat this? Well, first thing is to do proper maintenance of the transmission. We here at Blessed Performance, we run Schaefer's All-Trans in everything. I'm not gonna lie to you, literally everything. We have this in Nose Candy, all of our Power Strokes, Clayton's trucks. We run this in everything. We also try to make sure that we do our transmission services 10 to 15,000 miles here. Try to lean towards 10. Sometimes it runs over to 15, depending on where we're at and if we're on the road. That could be once a year for most of you guys that drive your trucks, and that's fine. But what we have to remember is that fluid in the transmission still needs to be changed. The other big factor here is transmission filters. Same concept as any other filter. It's designed to catch particles before it enters here. Well, what happens when that filter gets plugged? We get low flow. low line pressure. Once again, we're back to the proper maintenance of your transmission. It is crucial to ensure that you change your transmission fluid on a regular basis and use some of this right here. And let me see if I have any of the other stuff. So I don't have any of it here, probably because we used it. Anyways, whenever we do a transmission service, not only do we use this, we also use a Lucas transmission rebuild kit in a bottle. I don't know how else to put that to you. The Lucas additive for your transmission, I have personally watched it bring back a transmission. And I'm gonna give you guys a story here. So, a couple years ago, we had this truck called Blue Jeans. It's a wonderful truck. I love that truck. Clayton can attest to this. Anyways, we were out at Dirty South Showdown. Rockingham Dragway in North Carolina. We're at Dirty South Showdown, having a good time, drinking a few beers. It's after hours. We're doing burnouts and just doing whatever. Well, we go to leave there, and I've had a few too many to drink, so let somebody else drive, and I tell them to do a rowdy burnout in Blue Jeans. So, we do a very rowdy burnout in Blue Jeans. 37's cooking for quite some time. 6R140s, third to fourth. Gets interesting when you do that. I suggest using your manual shifter and hold it in third. Don't let it go past third, unless you're really trying to get the wheel speed going. Especially if you got a dually, don't let it go past third. Trust me, it gets bad. We do this rowdy burnout. This guy doesn't understand that. I'm too tipsy to share that with him. So I just let my truck do third, fourth through all this burnout for probably, I'm guessing, a half a mile long, and then all the way back. Well, we leave from there. He gets out. Ben gets in the truck, which you guys may have seen Ben on a couple of videos in the past. Ben gets in the truck. We drive from there to Texas Roadhouse. Have some steak. It was good. It's a good 10 o'clock at night party at the Texas Roadhouse. Go from there. We go to our Airbnb and go to sleep. Wake up the next morning. Go out to get my truck to move it and go pick up the 40-footer and start getting ready to head back home because, you know, we got 28-hour drive home right at 2,200 miles. So go out and I've got parking all neutrals. Best way to put it. Parking all neutrals, and that's it. Nothing else. It's a Sunday, you know, in North Carolina, away from everything that we have and all of our tools, and, you know, we just had the spare stuff that you need for getting cross country. Just the basic stuff. So my buddy Chase, I call up a tow truck. My buddy Chase opens his shop. Awesome guy, Dirty South Auto and Diesel. Check him out in Sanford, North Carolina, or Broadway, depending on whichever way you want. I think his address is Broadway. Anyways, highly recommend him. Wonderful guy. Anyways, call him up. He opens up his shop. We get a tow truck. We take Blue Jeans to his shop. And by the time we get there, it's got some of the gears back. We're able to drive it on the 4-post lift, pull it on the 4-post lift, and this is why I cannot stress enough how important maintenance is in your transmission. We picked it up, we dropped the pan. All we did, and I saw, again, air compressor. Of course, a lot of clutch material because we did a lot of burnouts with 37s on the back of a 450. Not the smartest move when you're cross country, but you know what? We live and we learn a little bit. Anyways, all we do is we drop the pan, we see all that, we drop the filter, we put a new filter on, pan back on, refill it with Lucas and some Schaefer. That transmission lasted me another 10,000 miles. Drove home with a 40-foot trailer and 2 trucks on it without any problem at all. Would have never known that a couple hours before that I had all neutral. Well, what was the problem? The problem was I cooked a lot of clutches. That plugged the filter, so I had no line pressure. Same thing happens here. Same concept. When these don't have the line pressure, the fluid to them that they need because the filter is plugged, guess what? Your transmission does some really weird stuff, especially the 5R110s. Transmission will just slip like crazy, shift up and down, not know what to do, hold, when you're going foot to the floor, hold third gear and won't shift to fifth because it doesn't have the right kind of line pressure it needs. All of that plays into this concept. Same thing, this goes for any transmission out there, realistically. Of course, y'all know that we do 6.0 power stroke tuning in-house, and I don't care what tuner you have out there, the number one complaint, it does not matter the company, because we hear it all the time, and it doesn't matter. I'm not here to say anything negative. It does not matter who you get your tunes from. I hope you find something that you're happy with. That being said, nobody's talked about this on the internet. And the reality of the situation is, if these are not properly maintained, there's nothing I can do or anybody else out there that tunes your truck for your 6.0 power stroke can do to control this properly if it's not properly maintained. What I challenge you to do is step outside the box for a minute. It's so easy for us to think about a 6.0 injector with injector stiction and understand that it can happen. Understand that an injector on a 6.0 can get stiction and then your truck will spit and sputter and not run right, especially when cold. Well, guess what you do? You do an oil change, You put some good chafers in, or some AMSOIL, or some arch oil, or whatever you can want to do. Don't suggest Rotella. Anyways, you put some good oil in, and it helps the injector spool valve. Pretty crazy. Arch oil is designed to go straight to this guy. It's a Band-Aid, it works, but it's a Band-Aid. But it does work. What happens if we do that same concept right here and allow these things to get the proper fluid and clean fluid? Goes a long ways for making sure that the transmission shifts properly, torque converter engages properly, lockup engages properly, shifts at the correct throttle percentage, all of that good stuff. If you got one of those trucks that is having these weird things happening, but it's low miles, drop the pan, and it's in pretty good shape, no metal, there's a good chance you could get away with putting a $599 valve body in that truck and fixing your transmission. 5R110s are a stout transmission in the grand scheme of things. They will hold 650, no problem, when they're properly maintained. They do not like four-wheel drive boosted launches, really like burnouts very much either. Most transmissions don't, but we like to do it. That's just, duh, it's fun. They're not a big fan of the four-wheel drive boosted launches. That can hurt them, especially when you don't have a billet input shaft. But the 5R110 in general, rather than the torque converter and this guy, is really a good transmission. You can do some upgrades to the transmission to make it last and get some more longevity out of it. And if you're going to, I highly suggest that you invest in the Randy's valve body. Like I said, $599. Get yourself a transmission service kit while you're doing it. Get some spare transmission service kits and properly maintain your transmission and watch that thing shift like it's supposed to. Have you got any questions? Because I'm sure there's going to ruffle some feathers, and that's not my goal. But my goal is to share some education, and that's really it here. And I'm hoping this will help some people understand the transmission concept a little bit better, because it's an electronically controlled transmission. This is an electronically controlled injector with a spool valve, Your IPR, this is an IPR. It's the same dang thing, just in a different concept. Hydraulics are amazing. The hydraulic world is an amazing world to be in. It's so advanced. It's what helped make the 6-liter such an amazing truck. It made it such an advanced truck for its time, so highly technical for its time. Made the 7.3 such an advanced truck for its time because of electronically controlled hydraulics. But the electronically controlled hydraulics need proper maintenance, whether it's the injectors, the IPR, or your valve body in your electronically controlled transmission. You need to maintain it. That's the best way I can put it. Not to ruffle feathers, none of that stuff. Not to upset some people. I hope it doesn't. If I can help, feel free to give me a call, 1-800-577-2698. Check these out on the website. Like I said, they're $5.99. We have them in stock, ready to ship, and I'm willing to bet that I could name some folks, including myself, that wish I saw this video 20 years ago when I started to learn more about this stuff when I was a young pup. Well, I didn't really grow much since then. But when I was first getting into electronically controlled stuff, gosh, I wish I knew more about it then, because I probably would have made a lot smarter decisions back then and didn't have to eat so much money along the way. Honest truth there. Give us a call. Let's get you set up with a new valve body. Let's save that transmission, get you some proper transmission fluid and a filter, and watch that transmission come back to life. 1-800-577-2698, blessperformance.com. As always, thank you for everything you guys do. Thank you for the opportunity to help. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate the support. Check out all of our socials. You know we got them all. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the usual crap. Everybody got it. So have a good one. We'll see you in the next one.